While we were working in the Old Station gardens over the weekend, moving the tree stumps and all the trees and the bushes, a disaster happened in another area of the Old Station. Let's go take a look. Over the weekend, I wanted to film the central room in the station. So that's the room that was probably a waiting room previously, and it's the big long room. I wanted to film it so we could really get a sense of the height and also see where stairs might go or where windows might go, and really try to picture what we were going to do in that room. So in the morning, I came in and I filmed that room. Here's the video. This is that central room in the Old Station. It's one of my favourite rooms because you can really picture people waiting for trains in here. I wanted to film this room because we're thinking about creating a grand entrance hall, but we're not 100% sure what we're going to do with it yet. I wanted to look at the ceilings and how high they were and really get a sense of the space within the room. As you can see, there's a fireplace at one end that we could open up to put a real fire in or a log burner in. As you turn to the left, the room leads out under the canopy area and into the garden. There's two big windows either side of the door. At the other end of the room there are two doors, one leading into what we've been calling the station master's room and the other door leading into what was a bedroom. This room is probably the best maintained room in the entire station. The door on the left leads out to the hallway and the front of the old station. So there's lots of possibilities for this room. It could make an amazing entrance hall, it could be a living room, or it could be a huge dining room. We really don't know what it's going to be yet. Anyway, I took this video so that we could start thinking about what this room could be used for a little bit more, and I'm so glad that I did, because something happened next which we did not expect. After I filmed that room, we got started on moving the tree stumps and trees that were outside the station. We'd been doing that for around about 3 hours. We were both really tired, so I went to run some errands and Gil came inside to have some lunch and have a break. While he was inside having a sandwich and a rest, there was a huge, colossal bang. So he went to explore, and this is what he found. This is what that central room looks like now. The ceiling has completely fallen in. It's not currently dripping water, but it was when it originally fell down. You may have noticed it looks a little dim in here. That's because we've had to turn all the electrics off because there's also electric wires hanging down. I've also moved the camera much further back than it was previously, and I'll show you why shortly. So what we can see is the ceiling is now on the floor, there's wires hanging down and there's insulation hanging down from the roof space. Not quite what I had in mind when I said I wanted to envision what the space might look like. The video I took in the morning was only 3 hours before this happened. If you look back at that video, there's no indication that the ceiling is going to fall through. It's not bowing, there's no water dripping. This happened all of a sudden but must have been building up for some time. Gil said that when he came in after it had fallen through, there was water pouring through the ceiling. He turned the water off to get it to stop. It's a big chunk of ceiling that's come down as well, probably 6 foot by 4 foot. It's too dangerous to get any closer underneath to take a better look. The dim light isn't much help either. So much for this room being the most maintained room. We definitely can't use it now until we can ensure that it's safe. Nope, no signs that I can see that it's going to fall through. I can't believe this was only 3 hours before. It was also one of the only ceilings without any holes or patches. The most important thing for now was to find out why it happened so we could make sure that it didn't happen again and no more of the ceiling would fall in. That would be so dangerous if someone was standing underneath it. So even though we were in the middle of digging up tree stumps and clearing trees, our priority had to change to finding out what had happened to the ceiling. Luckily, the girls and the dogs weren't with us, so there was no chance of them walking under the ceiling that had fallen in. The dogs would definitely make this situation worse, probably burying their ball in the middle of the rubble. Let's go see if we can find out what happened. So to work out why this happened, we first have to go outside. I'm outside now under the canopy area that's at the back of the station. So I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see what I can see. When you're at the back of the station, under the canopy and by the kitchen door, if you look up, you can see a pipe which seems to be poking out of the attic. And in fact, it is poking out of the attic. It's the overflow pipe from the water system. It's in an absolutely crazy place because when the system overflows, water drips out the end of that pipe, past the kitchen door and onto the floor under the canopy area. If you're coming out of the kitchen door, it will drip on your head. It also creates a huge puddle underneath, which has probably contributed to the floor being so damaged. We have had really cold weather recently, and this overflow pipe actually froze, which caused a lot of problems in the attic. Let's go inside and take a look. So I'm in the attic, and you might remember that the attic is full of junk and we haven't actually cleared it yet. But what you can see on this side of the attic is the water tank. So we have 2 tanks there, and then at the top we have that big black tank which is full of water. And when that tank overflows, the water comes out of that white pipe that you can see, and that white pipe goes under the roof and out into the canopy area, which is absolutely crazy. I have no idea where you put it coming out there, but there you go. So what happened is when that pipe froze, the water couldn't get out, so it flowed over the top of the black tank and onto the floor that's below, and then right through down to the ceiling. And I understand there was quite a lot of water when it thawed out, and the ceiling collapsed because it got soaking wet and it just came down underneath. FYI, I'm not standing on the attic floor during this next part of the video. I'm in the corridor leaning into the attic with the camera. So if I look here, what you can see is that the boards look quite wet still. Don't worry, I'm not standing on any wet boards, I'm well out of the way. But then if we look over here and I just put the camera over there, you can see where the ceiling is caved in. And there's still loads of junk on top of it. So we're gonna have to get this junk moved really quickly, because otherwise it's gonna come through. And also make sure nobody goes in that room. So what are we going to do? First off, we've made sure that everybody's safe. The electric's off, the water's off, nobody's going in that room. When I was in the attic just now, I was using a portable light that didn't need to be plugged in, so just to make sure we're all safe there. So first off, we've done that. Secondly, that ceiling was going to come down anyway, so it's not detrimental, but it wasn't planned that it would come down that way. We need to move all of that junk that's in the attic, and we now need to move it quickly because otherwise it could quite likely fall through the ceiling. And we were already worried about that anyway. So that's going to be a job for the very near future, is getting all of that out and getting it out safely, which means not stepping on any of those wet boards. So that's going to be a fun challenge. The plumbing system obviously needs serious work. We knew that anyway, but who the heck designed it like this? So now anyway, we have no hot water, we have no water, we have no electric. So we're gonna have to really think about what we're gonna do. As disasters go, this was quite a big one, but I'm sure it won't be the last one on our renovation journey. And it's all part of the fun as long as nobody gets hurt. So follow us to see what else happens at the Old Station Renovation to see our journey.